late 2023, one waterway has quietly reshaped global trade, the Red Sea. Today, my team and I investigate how attacks on commercial shipping in this corridor have disrupted Maersk's global supply chain and what can be done to prevent the next crisis. Hello.
Thank you, Shahid. I am Syed Aman, and I will conclude our presentation by summarizing the key findings and the value of our research.
Thanks, Afla. And my name is Shahid Irfan. So let's break the impact down into four areas: transportation cost, delivery times, and inventory management, and the wider global trade pictures.
I'm Afla. I am talking about the cause of this crisis and most recent attacks. So how do we get here? This crisis has a clear starting point, a long middle chapter of escalation, and as well show you it's still not fully over. So I'm Afla.
One ongoing crisis, a global ripple effect. Let's begin. Company of supply chain overview. So AP Miller Maersk is a Danish integrated logistics company and the world's second largest container shipping operator, running an end-to-end supply chain business across ocean freight, inland logistics, warehousing, air cargo, logistic trade platforms in more than 130 countries. One ongoing crisis. To understand why the Red Sea matters so much to Maersk, look at how goods, information, and finance actually flow through its network. The flow of goods moves from suppliers across Asia, the Middle East, and Europe through inland trucking, rail, and barge network to origin ports, where cargo is consolidated into containers and loaded onto vessels. These vessels normally transit the Suez Canal, the shortest route between Asia and Europe before reaching destination ports like Rotterdam, Hamburg, and Algeciras, and finally moving inland to distribution centers and customers. The flow of information includes booking data, customs documentation, container tracking, and vessel ETAs, shared between Maersk, customers, ports, and regulators. The flow of finance covers freight payments, fixed cost, insurance, customs, duties, and as we'll see, a grow hill for war risk premiums and rerouting. That's all. touch point is the whole system. It carries roughly 12 to 15% of global trade. So when it becomes unsafe to use, the shock wave travels through every part of Maersk network. That's exactly what has been happening since late 2023. Over to member B. The Suez.
It began in November 2023 following the Israel-Hamas war that started with the October 7th attack. Iran-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen began launching missiles, drones, and small boat attacks against commercial vessels trusting the Bab el-Mandeb Strait and southern Red Sea. Vessels they linked rightly or wrongly to Israel, the US, or the UK. So the scale was significant. Between November 2023 and October 2025, there were more than 100 separate Houthi attacks on commercial vessels affecting over 60 nations. Faced with the risk, Maersk and the wider shipping industry made the same call: suspend transits through the Suez Canal and reroute around the Cape of Good Hope, adding 1 to 2 weeks of sailing time and substantially higher fuel costs on our affected voyages. So the human cost was real. On 6 to 8 July 2025, the Houthis attacked and sank 2 commercial vessels in the southern Red Sea, killing 4 seafarers. On 31st August 2025, they targeted an Israel-associated vessel of Yambu, Saudi Arabia. The furthest northern attack had reached on 29 September 2025. A missile strike hit a Dutch-flagged cargo ship in the Gulf of Aden, killing 1 mariner. So the But the story didn't end there. In 2026, broader US-Iran conflict disrupted the Strait of Hormuz, and the Red Sea becomes a critical relief value of Saudi. Oil exports being routed away from Hormuz regional. Tension stayed high. In June 2026, Houthis declared a ban of Israeli ships passing through the waterways and fresh warning signs for the industry. Recently, on Sunday, 5th July 2026, a cargo vessel came under attack roughly 30 nautical miles southwest of El Oldia, Yemen. A small skiff opened fire before retreating to a longer vessel with his tracking off system. No group has claimed responsibility. Days earlier, on 1st July, suspected a small pirates attack another vessel further south even after a period of relative calm. The Red Sea remains fragile. And most recently,
Next is delivery time structure and become unpredictable, and the cap would add 1 to 2 weeks per voyage compared to Suez. But the bigger problem is uncertainty. Maersk cautiously test a partial return to the Red Sea, and some vessels are transiting Suez while others remain on the Cap route, meaning 2 different arrival schedules are now running in parallel, which makes on-time delivery reliability far harder to guarantee. That unpredictability hit inventory management hardest, and the business have had to hold more safety stocks to buffer against the longer, less certain lead times, tying up working capital. And there is a sharper risk if the first Suez vessels and the last Cape of Good Hope vessel arrive in Europe at the same time. That could be deliver months of inventory into ports simultaneously, pushing already stretched terminals like Rotterdam and Hamburg from around 80% utilization towards a high risk, 90% plus congestion zone, and leaving retailer overstocked just as fast as they were previously understocked. Zoom out and the impact is genuinely global. Attack between 2023 and 2025 affected shipping tied to more than 60 nations. Add in the 2026 disruption to the Strait of Hormuz, and the real Red Sea has become entangled between the global energy markets. As rerouted Saudi oil export now compete for the same corridor as container traffic, raising the risk of broader inflationary pressure across the global supply chains. So to summarize, a single security crisis has driven up Maersk cost, extended and established its delivery time, forced costlier inventory strategies into its customer, and rippled out to the global trade and energy markets. And all from the disruption to one narrow stretch of water. That raises the obvious question, what can actually be done about it? So the next remaining part be handled by that.
Based on our research, we would propose 5 practical strategies Maersk and the industry can use to prevent or reduce the impact of crises like this. First strategy, multi-layered maritime security coordination. Continued close coordination with naval conditions, UKMTO threat alerts, and clear AIS management guidance for vessels. Trusting the high-risk zones can reduce through and eliminate the chance of a successful attack. Second, a permanently diversified routing network. Rather than treating the Cape of Good Hope as a temporary detour, Maersk should maintain long-term flexible capacity across both the Suez and Cape routes, plus alternative gateways like Jeddah, Salalah, Sohar, and Khor Fakkan, so the network can flex instantly when risk rises. Real-time risk intelligence and predictive rerouting. So digital tools that continuously monitor security alerts and automatically recalculate ETAs let Maersk shift vessels before a route becomes dangerous, not after, turning threat data into an operational decision within hours, not days. Third, fourth strategy is collaborative buffer inventory planning. Maersk can work directly with customers to model safety stock levels against multiple disruption scenarios, reducing the risk of overstocking and stock out savings we described earlier. And the fifth strategy is war risk insurance and scenario-based contingency planning. So pre-negotiated insurance terms and rehearsal contingency plans for a sudden route change mean Maersk can react in hours, probably protecting both crew safety and service reliability rather than absorbing the full shock of every new incident from scratch. Thank you for watching our documentary.